Glad everyone could stay and be a part of this presentation that you're about to hear. I was asked to just kind of give an update on where things are as far as the Benton Elders and the FACE organization, and just give you a brief summary and update. Don't want to last too long because I know you want to hear what George and Dave and the others have to say. But as you know, yesterday there was a FACE meeting. The meetings with FACE, French African Christian Education, they're basically 2 meetings per year of the main board. And they'll have a meeting in the fall here at Benton, and then another meeting in the spring in Arkansas where the full board is assembled. And then George has been able to come over for those meetings, most every meeting. Of course, this year we're glad that we could have Kofi and Agi come along also. But to let you know, as you know, George has been in charge of the Bible Training Center. He's been actually the director for all these many years, going on, I guess, 24 years, since 1995. George has been the director, and Agi is taking over as soon as they get back to Benin. Agi will be the director. Well, I say all that to say this: where do they fit in? Where does George fit in now with the Benton Elders? Well, this is kind of a pivotal point this weekend because George is going to be starting a new role. And basically what George is going to be doing, he's going to be dividing up his time about 8 months out of the year that he will be working in the mission field with these churches that have already been planted, which are well over 200 that are active in the Lord's kingdom now. Well, obviously these churches need help. They need encouragement. So George is going to be going out in the field and helping these churches. George has wanted to do this for some time, but it's taken some time to get the development of the other leadership in the BTC so he could do this. But now we are at the point, and FACE has been planning this for some time. So the partnership is with the Benton Elders and with FACE, and as most of you know, I think that George is the missionary of the Benton Church. So he will be out there 8 months, basically 8 months a year, working as Benton's missionary, but also he's promoting the BTC. And then roughly 4 months out of the year, he will be at the Bible Training Center. But not only that, George will be available all the time if he's needed at the BTC. If Agi or Kofi or any of them need his assistance, he will be able to go there. So it's a really good relationship that we have with FACE. Now, as far as FACE is concerned, and what I gathered from the meeting yesterday, FACE is undergoing some really, really good changes, having a few growing pains, but they're good growing pains. One thing that came out of the meeting yesterday that's very, very positive is the Bible Training Center. Hopefully, in a few years, people will be put in place who can get master's degrees, and then they can go on and they can go into the public school systems and teach in the public school systems. Well, FACE needs to be accredited from Benin to become a university. Now, there's a process that has to be involved in that. But as I understood yesterday, probably more than likely, they will begin that process as soon as it's feasible for them to do that. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means that preachers who graduate from the BTC can be employed, say, like in a high school or a grade school or a middle school, if you want to equate that to the United States. Then they can have a vocation of teaching, and then also they can preach out in their native land. And what's really encouraging to me is they can also teach Bible in the public school. So you can imagine how the church is ready for growth. And you think about the way it's already grown, but there will be tremendous growth because of that. And if you think back in West Kentucky and West Tennessee primarily, and probably around the whole area, the churches of Christ really, really grew back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, probably because of that reason. We had members of the church who were principals in high schools, principals in elementary schools, and so on and so forth. And even in this congregation, we have so many people who are currently teaching and have taught in the past. So that would allow churches to be planted even more so in Benin. So everyone's really excited about that possibility. But I think George, in a few moments, I think Dave is probably next, but George is going to introduce Agi and Kofi. But as I said, Agi will be the director. Kofi is like the chief operating officer. Kofi controls the money over there and is very, very good at it. So he's been working in that capacity for some time and will continue. But this time I'm sorry, Dave, I forgot to have the FACE members. The FACE board members, if you're currently with us, if you would, those of you who are here, if you would please stand. All those involved in FACE who are on the board, please stand. Paul Johnson over here is the current chairman. DC's past chairman. Ed's past chairman. Jason's the treasurer. Bill Morgan, I think, have you been the chair, Bill? Or you've been on the board for some time. Kendall's past chairman and currently co-chairman. So those are the ones that I see. Appreciate you being here. Dave?
Thank you, Matt. And it's a pleasure to have Matt serve on the FACE board as well as a Benton Elder representative, and that's something that will always be there to have that active elder on the board. FACE is positioned very well with the men and women who are involved in it and at the leadership level, both with the board members that you know and others, and with the Benton Elders. And that was a great meeting yesterday. I just wanted to provide a couple fast facts before George goes more in depth and into his work and what's going to be going on at the BTC. I will make one clarification, though, and we always talk about this. George is not retiring. You know, in the U.S., we say, well, he's going to move on to here. What George is doing is really expanding, growing, and pioneering in a way that has not been done before. And it will take him and his talents and focus outside of the walls of campus and more directly into the mission field with our evangelists and graduates. And so, as Bill Morgan so kindly has taught many of us, that leadership is not about being served or about you get to do more things. Leadership is about being a servant, and the more you lead, the more you serve. And I just want us to keep George in our prayers, because he's going to be leading and serving many, many, many more. So God bless you and Godspeed with that, brother. Just a few factoids. It's the Lord's work, and as you can see, he's blessing what it is. I mentioned those who are leading FACE, but even together, we're not smart enough, if you will, to formulate the plans that have produced the results, and that includes the work there on campus and out. It includes fundraising. It includes all those pieces that not only has God provided the increase, I firmly believe, and it's been echoed by many of you, that God's already planned it. He's already doing it. And our job is just not to get in the way. And so with that being said, there are many improvements and development on campus, from painting and from fixtures, and we will continue to be doing that over the next year and two, just to keep the facility up and running. You saw the married housing, that campaign and that unit, and that's the Addison Apartments for families to be in, and many of you saw that from the trip report. So 10 apartments, 10 families on campus, lots of kids and lots of things. The French African Christian Education Building was completed, and both of these ahead of schedule and under budget. And goes to the diligence of the team there on campus, of the natives. But the French African Christian Education Building is not just 2 classrooms, large classrooms. It is a real distinguishing factor for this program and for BTC. This is vocational training. This is self-sufficiency, and at a higher level. That's education, electronic repair, computers, networking, and for the ladies, some seamstress stuff, some hairdressing, some other things, exciting plans that were mentioned that we will be reporting to you on more. There will be an opportunity for you all to be involved personally, if that's appealing to you, to outfit those programs. Make a note that the Bramblett Group, many of you may be familiar down in Henderson, Tennessee. If you get Seasons Magazine and see the things from Freed Hardeman on social media, that's coming from that group. And FACE will be working with them officially as an agency, but more or less as a partner in marketing and communications. And we look forward to that. And just lastly, in terms of how God's blessing it and some watermark moments, This year represented the highest fundraising total year that FACE has had in its history. $776,000 was provided by Christians and by churches to help fuel this work. And because it is being used and stewarded correctly, and we believe it's in line with God's will, and people are generously giving, then God's doing his promise. He's providing increase, and he's blessing it. Most importantly, the highest enrollment numbers, 56 men in training in school. If I go any further, I will officially be stealing Georgia's thunder. I won't do that, brother. After you.
Our time manager and money manager. I want him to say a few words. He understands English, but you are going to hear him speak French. Okay, allez-y.
Bonjour, chers frères en Christ.
Good morning, brothers and sisters.
Oui, mon nom est Kofi Hihiaglo.
My name is Kofi Hikaglo.
Je suis marié et père de 3 enfants.
I'm married with 3 children,
J'ai 2 garçons et une fille.
2 boys and a girl.
Les 2 premiers enfants sont à l'université
The boy and a girl are in the university.
et le second n'est pas encore là-bas.
The other one is in high school.
Ma femme s'appelle Berthe.
My wife is called Beth.
Oui, je suis très content d'être parmi vous.
I'm so excited to be here.
Je ne savais pas que je pouvais être avec les frères, les sœurs qui sont très éloignés de nous. Ça, il faut que je
I
le
didn't
dise.
know that I will meet brothers and sisters who are so far away from us.
Et je suis content de vous voir.
I'm happy to be here and to be in
Oui.
your midst.
Nous vous remercions pour vos prières.
We thank you for your prayers.
Oui, parce que nous apprenons que vous priez régulièrement pour nous.
We know you pray for us every day.
Et je vais vous dire que Dieu exauce vos prières.
God is listening and is answering.
Et nous continuons de vous demander de prier pour nous.
We ask that you continue to pray for us.
Merci infiniment.
Thank you so
Que
much.
Dieu vous bénisse tous.
God bless you all.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ajayi Inusa. I am 57 years old. I am married. I have 5 children, 3 boys and 2 girls. I thank God for your lives. I thank God for your commitment to the work of the Lord. I want to encourage you to keep up the work that you are doing for the Lord. Let us continue and work together and in order for the glory to go to God. Thank you.
We just want to share a few things with you and let you know some of the new roles that I will be playing as we go back. As Kofi will go back on the 16th of this month because school begins 5th October. So he must go back and begin getting things ready for school to begin. And Ajay will be going back September ending, just in time for school to begin. David and I will be on the road for a few more weeks before I get back home at the end of October. So when we go back to school in October, we'll be having 56 men. Out of those 56, 10 will bring their spouses and their children to live on campus. And we'll be taking care of those ladies by providing them knowledge in the Bible and also teaching them some skills and some trades. BTC started when Bill Morgan and Charles Cavitt came to cut the ribbon in 25 years ago, or thereabout, 1995. No, 24 years ago. Today, we've trained 264 preachers for French-speaking Africa. 264. From that humble beginning, that's what we have done. When we look at the country of Benin, where we are located, we have 121 congregations all over the country. In 1995, when we started, we got only 2. But because of the Bible school, the church is growing. Since most of these churches don't have a place to worship, the Legacy Church Building Project that we are well of is in progress. And so far, 20 congregations in Benin has a good place to worship. But many more are still waiting for us to get them a place to worship. I want to thank you for your concern for Brother Alphonse that passed away in a motor accident. We thank you for the donation that you provided for his family. Of course, plans are in place to replace him. As we go back to Benin, I can tell you all that BTC is at its highest level in development. All our goals are being met, and we're even ahead of our goals. Now, this is the map of Benin. It's like a key. If you look at this map, carefully, okay. If you look at the bottom of the map, we have Cotonou. We have 7 congregations in that area of Cotonou. Ouémé, we have about 15 congregations located in there. But let me tell you, the language spoken in Ouémé and Plateau there and Cotonou is different. The people in the Ouémé and the Plateau, they speak the language we call Yoruba. They spoke the same language as Nigeria. And the department called Collins, we have 14 congregations in that region there. The department called Bogu, on the right there, we have 10 congregations. The department called Alibori, we have 0 church there. Language, and we don't speak their dialect. We've not gotten anybody from that area yet to come to BTC. But we have plans to get people to go to that area and evangelize. If you look at the left, we have Atlantic. We have 26 congregations in that area. In fact, the population in the south is bigger than in the north. Okay. Then Mono, we have 11 congregations. Kufo, we have 10 congregations. Zoo, we have 6 congregations. Donga, we don't have any congregation in that department. And Atakora, we have 7 congregations in that department, just for Benin. So our plans to spread all across Benin is on course. And we do these things by the various ministries that we have in Benin. Don't look at the Nigeria Gospel Chariot. We have the radio preaching, sponsored by the One Kingdom, where some of our graduates preach on the radio. A very successful mission. We have the Gospel Chariot. If God is with us in 2020, we are going to get a big chariot like you see in that picture. That is the Gospel Chariot that is being used in Nigeria. It was built for them in Nigeria. And we have the same thing built for Benin to replace the Marshall County school bus. It's been worn out, and we are spending more money repairing it than previously. We do the Bible correspondence coursework Actually, Kofi is in charge of the Bible correspondence course. He's got 1,200 active people enrolled in the Bible correspondence course. Of course, we have the Bible Training College, and we have youth activities, women's activities, men's activities, and the Alumni Association activity. And all those activities come together to evangelize the country of Benin, as you see in this picture. We are taking Benin for Christ. There's only 2 departments where we have not yet begun a church, but that will not be too long before we have churches in those areas. Benin has 72 dialects. So one of our cultural shock is that we come to America, wherever you go, you hear some English. We don't have the same thing at home. Then we have our Bible distribution. Program that is going on, very successful. We're able to get Bibles into the hands of Muslims. You know, I've received some pictures of Muslims receiving Bibles, but they will cover their face so that they cannot be identified. But they love to have a Bible. And they are reading those Bibles that we are providing. It's like seed that is being planted. We know something is going to happen. Okay. In my new role, let me look at this map first. This is the map of West Africa. This map of West Africa. The red dots are where we have graduates from BTC. When Bill Morgan and Charles Calvin and Ed Jones and I were thinking of a Bible college, we knew it would be a local Bible school, just serving Benin. But this school has extended far and wide, that we are covering a big chunk of Africa. You can see on the map that we have Mali, we have graduates there, and we have people from that country in school still studying the Bible. If you look at Niger, we have a graduate there working, and Mali and Niger are 100% Muslim. But they are there giving out Bibles to Muslims and teaching them. They are not being persecuted. That is their home. They are not foreigners. So legally, they must stay in there and worship God as they want. Most of these Muslim countries, they have laws that said everybody is free to worship in whatever religion. So there is that liberty. But they do not allow you to convert a Muslim to Christianity. So you can worship, but don't touch our people. But we give them Bibles, and they come on their own. We've been taken to the police station for converting people to our church. We've been to the police station several times because we brought somebody to the church from a previous religion, either from idol worship or from Islam to the church. But when we go in there, we say, what does the law say? Each person is free to worship God in whatever religion he wants to. That's the law. So we don't feel guilty preaching and teaching people. So we are covered, sort of, by the law that anybody can worship God as he wants to. So they ask the person, did you go to the Church of Christ of your own free will? When the person say yes, say go. So those are some of the challenges that we have, but they are not too bad. When we are called to the police station, we know what answer we are going to give. So the Benton Church, your dream in 1995, and that dream that has been shared with you and with other churches in the United States, with the Faith Foundation coming in to give us that big boost, we are spreading out all over Africa. We are spreading out all over Africa. This is West Africa. You can see those dots there. Now, this is Central Africa. Okay. We have churches in 5 countries. We have graduates in 5 countries in Central Africa who came to BTC. Okay. So this brings me to our new role. Most of the graduates who are in those areas need some moral encouragement and moral training. So I will be teaching in BTC. I will teach the normal courses that I teach. But when I'm not teaching, I'll be traveling to visit these preachers. If we get a new chariot, I'll be on that chariot as we go visiting these preachers. We camp in there. I won't mind staying for 1 month or 2 weeks. Just stay with these young men, encourage them, retrain them, share my passion, share my experience with them, and go back to another country and do the same. So that is my new role. There's something I've been wanting to do, and we've been discussing with the Faith Foundation and with the elders for more than 3 years. And we will be able to recruit students to come to BTC. We'll be able to take Bibles to those people. We'll be able to, and when I say we, I mean, I will not be doing this alone. I'll be going with some of my right-hand men, some of the graduates from BTC who have that same passion like I have, will be following me. We'll be going out in teams, traveling from the Ivory Coast to Guinea, to Niger, to Mali, to Burkina Faso, just encouraging the people, holding gospel meetings, holding seminars, and providing resources where we have the means to provide those resources. And so this is exactly what I want to do. And the Lord has opened the doors for me to do that. And we want to share this with you. So we normally take questions from you when we make this report. If you have any questions, we want you to ask those questions. Then also, we want you to come and visit. If you are coming to visit, we know what you want to do. We'll provide the opportunity for you. Medical missions, a team of doctors and dentists and nurses coming to Benin to provide medical assistance to the public is highly welcomed. It's highly welcomed. We did this about 12 years ago. It was very, very successful. There was a dentist who came to pull teeth out. When a dentist in Benin pulls your teeth out, chances are your jaw will be swollen. But when those guys were pulling teeth, people were speaking right after the teeth were pulled. So if there is a possibility to organize a medical team to come to Benin, accommodation is okay. We have good accommodation for you when you come. Food, We've got some good places to eat. So the challenges we had in the past, we've taken care of those challenges. If you are a preacher and you are coming, we'll bring all the graduates together from all the places. And they will listen to you. You enjoy teaching those people. They absorb whatever you are teaching, just like a sponge absorbs water. And they'll be willing to take more on. Okay. So we want you to come over. We won't take you to these places. Just come to Benin. Some of these places are rough. Benin has a good government. Every 5 years, there are free elections. So the previous president stayed in power for 10 years. That was his limit. They had elections, and we have a new president who is in there. His term limit is maximum 10 years. And with that change and the openness to the religious freedom that we enjoy, you would think God has set Benin there for us to do mission work. Okay.
George, would you share with the congregation here at Benin? This congregation provides some support for a local elementary school.
Yes.
And some of you have contributed to that. Can you share with them what we're doing there and how the Bible's being taught there? And maybe that's something that will spread to some of these other countries.
Okay. We inherited a building that was abandoned by some American missionaries who came to Benin. They stayed for 8 years. When they left, the only thing we found was a 4-classroom building. We didn't find any Christians. And I don't know if I should say this. When they came as Americans, coming from the big America. They came with a 40-foot container stocked with American goodies. Washing machines, fridges, couches, toothpaste, all from America. Okay. And which is normal, which is good. But after 8 years, 0 Christian. And this is where we are more effective. They come on furlough and return. So when we got this building, and we said, let's start a primary school. And the Faith Foundation helped a little bit, and this congregation helped a little bit. As at the last time that I checked, there are 140 kids from grade 1 to grade 6. And in Benin, when you're in grade 6, you take an examination before you go to elementary school. They presented 17 kids for that examination. Everybody passed to go to elementary school with the public system. The situation of education in Benin is the government said every kid must go to school. Every child must go to school. But the government is not able to provide the necessary classrooms and teachers to take in those kids. So our school there is doing a wonderful job taking kids in there. We did not ask for any money in a little while because we are trying to be self-sufficient. And the leader of that work is called Gilles Natabu. He's on Facebook, and he publishes pictures of those kids from time to time. And we thank the church here for being a part of that work. Yep.
Can you tell them also about the plans for the online courses?
Yes. Yeah, when I get back, one thing that I'll be doing, I will not be in the classroom, but I will be in a room somewhere converting our Bible lessons to an online course so that those Africans who are in those faraway countries who cannot come to Benin, or those who have a job that they cannot leave and come to Benin, they will be able to go online and download those lessons, study the lessons, and take the test, and they will grade them. And after a while, they will graduate and become preachers without coming to school 3 years. They could come for maybe 1 month of intensive training and teaching. That's something that we are hoping to begin, Lord willing, in 12 months' time. Yep.
The school that you're talking about is self-supported by what the parents, the students pay.
Yes.
How much do they have to pay to come to school there?
For a year, maybe $25. And even that they cannot afford. Benin is ranked among the 10 poorest countries in the world. There are no natural resources. And but when you come in there, you see a loving people. There's no hunger. But you see a loving people who are open to the gospel. When you ask us, how do we get the people? In fact, if I'm in this country, it would be difficult for me to do the work I'm doing here. But in Africa, when Kofi and Ajayi came, they said, "What are the people?" We went to the court square, there is nobody there. In Benin, we rub shoulders with one another. We are everywhere. People are everywhere. It's just like you getting out of this building. We have that every day. So people are out there, it's hot. They sit under the shade tree. You sit with them and you begin to study the Bible with them. So the people are still open. But some, as I used to say, CNN is coming, cable TV is coming, satellite TV is coming, and people are building nice homes, locking themselves in there. So this is the time for us to do the best we can before the doors are closed.
Have you had any Muslim resistance, George?
Yes, the Muslims in Benin are not radicalized. They don't read the Quran. And Islam in our part of the world is more of a tradition than a religion. Okay, they just go through the motions without any hard conviction. But we don't provoke them. We are careful not to provoke them because we don't know what they will do. Yeah. Well, Benin, we don't have any issues, but where those countries where some of the graduates are, they have to be careful. Okay. Any more questions? Yep. Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. That's good.
I'd like to thank George for coming again, and everyone who's come along with him. At this time, I'm going to ask Kendall Stevenson if he would come to lead a closing prayer.
Let's pray together. Holy Father, we're so humbled to be here this morning, to be in your presence, to hear the good news of the success that we've enjoyed by your providence in West Africa. Father, we're so thankful for good men like George and Kofi and Ajayi that dedicate and devote their life to serving you, to bring honor and glory unto you and to your glorious Son. Father, it's humbling for us to to realize that by your providence we were brought together to be a part of this great work that many souls have been and will be saved. Father, we just ask for your guidance. We ask for your courage. We know, Father, this is a transition time for George and for Ajay and Coffee. Would you just, Father, be with them, and when they go back, that this transition will go smoothly, and that great success will be had from the decisions that were made this weekend here in this meeting. I'm thankful, Father, for everyone in this congregation that shares the passion and shares the dream of taking French Africa for Christ, and the support, both monetarily, but just the encouragement that they've given to all of us that are involved in it. Father, I'm so thankful for this congregation and its commitment. Would you continue to bless us, Father, that we can continue to support this good work? Help us in every way, Father, and when we have to make decisions, help us to make the right ones. And we know because of the success that Satan is aware of this work, and he'll do everything he can in his power to destroy it. Help us to always be aware of that, to push him out of the way and go forward. Again, thank you, Father, for your love, for your kindness, for your patience with us. Would you just wrap your arms around us and help these three good men as they go back, Father, to be more successful than ever before. And in the end, all glory and honor will be yours. In Jesus' name, amen.